Hi guys, Rhonda without an H here with you today. We are, or I am, and hopefully you will be too, cooking up some tags to put in your journals. I know a lot of people have done tags, but I've never done that and shown you my process. So I thought that would be kind of a fun thing to do. First of all, let me bring it a little closer so you can see. Well, maybe that's a little too close. Okay. So you can see the detail of the tags. I have included, I've started with a sturdy cardboardy type paper, and then I have layered and stitched. I've got pieces of doilies, I've got strips, ripped fabric, I've got little bits of lace, other paper. Here's some music sheet, a chenille bedspread. This is seam binding that's been dyed, that I've scrunched up, etc., etc. So, let's get going here. Okay, so first of all, I have some cards that I picked up at a junk place. They were actually in the garbage, in the dumpster. Oh, I did semi-dumpster diving, not completely. Anyway, they had a whole bunch of these, and so it's a nice heavy. This must have been for some science class or something. Like this says determination of hydrogen sulfide in digester gas. Well, okay. But I love to use them in my projects. And of course, you can use any type of heavier paper cardstock. So, and these are already aged if I want that look, which I do love that. But you don't have to do a whole lot to it, adding your stamping, with that kind of thing, edging it and whatnot, like with Tim Holtz or whatever that you might use. So I start with a card or heavy cardstock, and then I gather some things that I want to use on it. This particular thing is a napkin that I picked like 6 of them up in some little antique junk store and just paid like peanuts, just pennies. And I'm not using them for the napkins, but I love this old-fashioned vintage fabric. So I'm still only on my first napkin, you guys, and I've taken off about a 5-inch strip so far, and I'm going to show you. I just snipped through the edge like this, and I just rip. And that even came off. I didn't even have to cut the edge of that one off. So typically when I do a strip like this, I will kind of pull out and I'll try to gather my threads that are loosey-goosey threads. All right. And I will kind of ball those up, but I don't throw these away. I put these in a little cup or a little bag or a little whatever container, and when I get a whole bunch of threads and snippets and that kind of thing, then I make more fabric, and maybe I'll do that as a video sometime. If you're interested, put in the comments below that you would like me to do that. I haven't done that for quite a while. And so I would typically also, depending on what project I'm working on, then I would take and press this with my iron. Okay? So it's a matter of gathering up things that you want to use. What I do, first of all, is decide, well, what size do I want them? And it may depend upon what project that I'm particularly working on, because as you know, as you're working on doing your tags and different things for your little pockets in journals, you'll make some larger, some smaller, etc. So you gauge what you want to do that way. It looks like on these, I did it this is the top and this is the bottom, and probably did 3. So I'm just gonna eyeball it. I know you guys think I'm weird because I do my rotary cutter, but those of you that are quilters, you understand completely why I'm doing it this way. Because it just, you know, it's cool, it's easy. Okay, so now what I would typically do is either with a corner rounder or with my scissors. If I want my tag, let's see, this one is just squared off. What's this one? And this one is just a little tiny corner taken off. But for this demonstration, I'm going to take off even a little bit more. And what I've done with my quilting ruler is I've tried to center this line in the middle going straight down to an angle that I want, and then I cut off the corners. Or if you don't have that, no problem. You can cut it without, and you just kind of eyeball that, and you still get the same effect. So either way, that's cool. And then let's see, for this one, let's go ahead and let's round us some corners a little bit. Just, it's not perfect, but it's okay. All right. Then I have to decide, do I want this as the front or do I want it as the back? And as you can see, what I've done on my previous ones is the writing is on the back. And that's what I'm going to do here too, because I have a tendency to cover up a whole bunch of stuff. And so I might cover up this writing. But, you know, it's totally up to you. Then it's just a matter, guys, of layering. Deciding, you know, what fabrics I might want. As you can see here, I have layered. I've got some paper. I've got some fabric. I've got another layer of fabric, and this is actually part of an embroidery that I picked up. You know, it used like Salvation Army stores and some of those places where you can pick up crochets and things for really minimum. You know, that's, I love them because they're so accessible, at least in the U.S. Now, I don't know about you gals that are in foreign countries, or guys. I don't mean to be rude that way. Guys too. Anyway, you get the idea. I gather a bunch of stuff, and I have, let me show you. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. But here is my, well, let's see. Let's take it so you can, you know, okay, I'm telling on myself. I have all kinds of bits and pieces, and and this is typically where I go to gather a lot of my goodies that I'm putting on there. Unfortunately, this keeps growing. I get it down, I use a lot, and then it just seems to grow because I work on other things. And, you know, I'd gone to a thrift store, so I have to pull out that brand new whatever that I found and use it, right? So I use this. Let me put that off for a minute. And I use this. These are papers. These are my junk, just little excess extras. I have a hard time throwing away, especially if I've coffee dyed or tea dyed something. You know, little bits and pieces can just add a lot of wonderfulness on your tags. So that's kind of what I do. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to turn the video off and pull some things together and sit down here, lay it out here, and then I'll show you how I continue with my process. All right, I'll be back. So I've gathered some things that I think I will use, and let's just start layering. So this particular piece of lace is old, and so it's a little bit easier to rip, or you can cut. So I'm just going to, I'm using an extra strength Elmer's glue stick, but whatever works. This is just to tack it down. I am going to stitch as well, but this is just my first to kind of get an idea. So that looks pretty good. And then what I've done here is I did iron a piece. I cut a piece of that fabric that I ripped, the napkin, and I decided, why not, you know, do a little bit of something this way. So we'll do that. We'll put a little bit of glue just to tack it down. Da, da, da. Okay. All right, what next? What next? What next? I've got a little bit of sheet music that I've got here. Here's a little bit of journaling from that old, they all went to church today. I read that. That was kind of cool. And it was a good day. So that will be immortalized. Okay. Not bad, not bad. All right. Let's do some more layering. Here, here. I don't know. Here. So this is where it just takes a little while. You know, you just kind of play with it. What do you like? What looks good? What don't you like? What do you want to redo? I like that. And I've got myself a really cool image here cut out from from the other piece of fabric that I showed you. This is pretty nice. I've also got this. I want to put a saying on this one. Stay close to anything that makes you glad you are alive. I thought that was kind of cool. Now, for something like this, I'll just show you that right now. I just go around the edge. As you can see, I did the corners, or cut the corners, and I just did it with my scissors. You can use a corner rounder, of course, and not too much, so that when it's set down somewhere, you know, you'll see that and it'll look kind of cool. Okay, I'm not ready for that yet. I'm thinking, okay, let's do this. Now, a piece like this, I will toss this. I mean, there comes a point, right? You gotta get rid of some of the stuff, you guys. Oh, it's just impossible to keep it all. So I kind of like that up here. Fold that. Okay, I'm going to do that. So I will just, with my glue stick, go over that. Let's see, how did I have it? This way, this way. Okay. Are you with me, guys? All right, here we go. We're building. We're building. Now, if I do that, that'll cover that up. And that's what happens too. I just have to warn you. When you do the layering in mixed media, sometimes you'll have a beautiful start and you're like, oh yeah. But then something else will happen and you'll end up covering most of it up or all of it up. That's okay. That's okay. There are no rules that say you can't do something like that. I don't know if I want to do that just yet. Let's I'm just going to tack that down right there. Just a little bit. Okay. Liking it. I'm liking it. And for those of you that want, just one moment, let me grab a paper punch. And this one is for, oh, would help. I do it the right way. Okay. So we will put some yarn or threads or something through the top of that. That just gives me an idea. And I may cover that up again and we'll have to repunch the hole. That's not a problem. That's kind of pretty. You know, this is a little bit big, so we're just going to do that. Okay. I don't know, what do you guys think? This is the part where, okay, kind of like that. All right, yeah, I like that. Okay. So we shall stick that on. And then let's do a little bit more layering. Aha, I have an idea. Okay. And sometimes you just kind of have to go with the flow. Whatever at the time is interesting you. Okay. I kind of want this to be not quite so pretty and straight in my cut, so I am pulling some of these little threads and fibers out to make it a little bit more organic, if you will. Ooh, that's cool. And see, that'll go really well in my snippets and threads to make more fabric at some point. Okay, I like that. That's kind of, I like that better. All right, now, so, I think I kind of like this. So what I'm going to do now is go to my sewing machine and do a little bit of stitching, and then I will be back. Okay, I have progressed quite a bit here. Let me show you the back. As you can see, I've stitched quite a bit. One thing that I do, you know, as a quilter with a bone folder, the stitching on your back, wherever you're stitching, will be somewhat raised. And I just use a bone folder to smooth that down. When I get done with this, I'm not done yet, but I can, if I want, I can get another piece of paper and I can glue or stitch that down so that this is all plain. If you don't like the look, or you want to put some paper with lines on it that someone can journal, then absolutely, go ahead and do that. So I have added another little piece of the journal up at the top. I'm going to have to re-punch my hole here. And I'm thinking, I also pulled out another little bit of junk paper. I'm thinking that I'm going to rip this around, and this, obviously, this is a good enough, I will save that. Okay, so, okay, now for this, because, see, when I lay this on, it kind of blends in. Well, I want this to stand out, and so this would be one of those times when, let me bring in my other, and I will go around the edge. Just, can you see that? Alrighty. Not much, but enough that when I now place it here, and then I add my, okay, where did it go? Where did it go, you guys? Where's my little seine? All right. Well, that is a quandary. Okay. Oh, well, you're seeing me in the real, you know, this is how we work. Okay. So, I think, do I want it centered? Do I want to offset? And I like, oh, I like that. Okay. So, we will just tack this down. Okay. Right about so. And we will add this. Okay, this is looking pretty good. So I'm going to finish up. I'm going to do my stitching. I'm going to repunch the hole. I'm going to thread it, and then I'll show you the finished tag. All right, hang it. Okay, I have a finished tag. Yeah, you can just, this is so much fun, you guys. And I would recommend that when you're doing one, you do a bunch of them. You know, do several, you know, and put little bits and pieces. It just makes it, if you do it that way in assembly line type style, then it will go so much faster. But for instance, like if you want to take the time and to do your first tag, and then you're like, okay, I really like this, then you can go ahead and rip the pieces of paper and get it all together to do more, and the others will go much quicker. So I added one of those, ring binder, those, what do they call those? Come on, you guys, what are they called? Anyway, I added those that I had colored, you know, with my ink, and I did the front and the back. And what I also did, I took one of those, I cut 3, remember? Well, I took one of those and I cut it, trimmed it. I just thought, you know, this would be nice to be able to have some journaling. And as you can see, you saw it before, this is very nicely finished. This looks very professional. And so you can journal to your heart's content. This is fabulous. Oh, by the way, for those of you that were curious about this, this is an 8 by 5 inch card. So, make yourself some tags. Come on, guys. Get busy. I hope you enjoyed. Have a fabulous day. Bye now.